80% of statistics are false.
Yeah. So, my meaning is
Cold
that...
room, come on guys, that was a joke.
Hello and welcome to Mandatory Redistribution Party. My name is Jack Lewis Evans.
And my name is Sean Morley. Today's episode is about Earth's new god, Elon Musk.
Earth's richest guy is a stupid, vindictive nerd and allows us to see the poisonous nexus of state, capital and geek culture.
Welcome to the Funko Pop Blade Runner. You are in a desert. You see a tortoise trying to unionize.
You kick it to death. You get on the front page of Reddit. You are our God King.
And if you would like to be our God Duke in the dystopian present, you can always wire us some electro dollars on patreon.com/mandatory redistribution party to hack into our encrypted cache of extra convos, bibliographies, and assorted bonus data.
We once got on the front page of Reddit for a tweet dunking on Elon Musk. Such is the power of social media. Please help more people who might enjoy this episode discover us by sharing on social media, giving us a good review on your podcast application, and adding it to your Neuralink feed so it's wired directly to your spine.
Sounds like we're good to go. Are you ready for the ride of your life?
The ride of my life.
Yeah, absolutely, the ride of your life.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. It's not supposed to do that.
Oh, help, I'm dying!
I'm sorry.
Well, normally it would have
I'm
very
sorry.
advanced safety features. I think it's
I'm sorry.
an off day.
Oh, it sliced
sorry.
my arms off and it's put them on
I'm
its
sorry.
windscreen wipers.
Okay, just
I'm
hang fire
sorry.
on that. I need to give feedback on the journey,
sorry.
otherwise it's going to drive back to the depot.
I'm
What do you
sorry.
think I should put in? 2 stars?
Surely
sorry.
non-stars.
I'm
It's
sorry.
the lowest is 1, and it
I'm
did
sorry.
apologise, so I don't want to
I'm
be...
sorry.
Yeah, okay,
I'm sorry.
coming through loud and clear. I'll put some bin
I'm
bags
sorry.
down, maybe. Do you want to go in the back?
I'm sorry.
Sean, you know Tony Stark?
I mean, I know of Tony Stark, yeah.
Iron Man.
Yeah, the Ironed Man.
Yeah.
What, are you saying Iron Man?
I'm saying Iron Man.
I thought it was the Ironed Man.
Like a really flat guy.
Yeah, like Flat Stanley.
What if I told you that there was a real Tony Stark?
Yeah, Sammy Davis Jr. What's his name?
Sammy Davis Jr.
Who are we talking about? The guy? The guy, the Iron Man.
The actor? No. I mean a real Tony Stark, Sean. But instead of like flying around in a metal suit.
What, someone with the same name, but they're probably like a gardener or
Yes.
something. Yeah, I'm Tony Stark. Yeah, what do you do? Oh, hedges.
And he flies around, but he doesn't, instead of flying around in the suit, he does stuff like just sort of union busts and posts memes, makes cars that just like go on fire.
He makes cars that just go on fire just on their own.
And and takes huge government subsidies.
I think someone like that in the real world, because obviously Tony Stark, you don't need to have a wide lens of how he's viewed by society.
Yeah.
But obviously someone like this in the real world, they'd be probably universly lambasted as a villain of some kind.
Oh, no.
Or maybe just a time waster, like just a kind of dork.
No. He's loved even more than Tony Stark would be.
Loved.
People will defend him, even though it makes them look stupid.
And what kind of criticism is he getting? Is he getting like, your cars go on fire?
People say like, why do you keep talking about these crypto coins? This is a pyramid scheme. And then people come in and go, it's not a pyramid scheme, it's great. I sold my child to invest in Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Because this man said to.
I currently have a lot of apes. What's wrong with that? But I couldn't see what he tweeted after that because his account's now locked.
We are, of course, talking about Elon Musk. I think people like Elon Musk for a few reasons. One, the basic one of under our society where money is elevated above all. The idea that you could become a billionaire is one of the ways kind of people are controlled. So they're defensive of billionaire Elon Musk as an avatar of themselves. But the second element of that is that Elon Musk is very obviously stupid on many levels, and that is relatable in a way to people that Steve Jobs wasn't. Because like if you think of like Steve Jobs also a cult figure, but in a sort of different way. I think Steve Jobs cultists have a whole different vibe to Elon Musk cultists. And it's weird because his whole thing is like, I'm a nerd and I like nerdy things and therefore I'm clever. But also all his behavior is so like stupid and there's like no thought, and he just stream of consciousnesses all the time and says things that damage his entire company's stock. But I think deep down, it's the combo of people see themselves as, you know, the temporarily embarrassed billionaire combined with he's an idiot. And people, I don't think if he said to someone, do you like this guy because he's an idiot and you're an idiot? But I think deep down, there's something reassuring about that.
All of the interesting stuff about Elon Musk is not found inside Elon Musk. It's found in the aura that surrounds the idea of this guy. Because if you start off with the question, I want to understand Elon Musk, you can do that in 15 minutes. you can get your head around this kind of guy. We've all met this kind of guy.
You've met Elon Musk?
Well, I've met dorks that say stupid things, and when they can't defend them, they get very angry.
People too into Rick and Morty.
Elon Musk is given the kind of super genius label, but you don't have to go very far to like he once tweeted, I fully support trans, but these pronouns are an aesthetic nightmare with aesthetic spelt wrong.
He's an idiot. That's the appeal. But he says he likes nerdy things, and that like signifies to people smart. He's like Big Bang Theory smart.
There is a cultural association between nerdiness and intelligence that doesn't seem intuitive to me. I don't know if I'm like a part of that. If I see someone who's really into, because Elon really loves samurai. He loves samurai.
What? Is this a thing?
Yeah. So in one of the biographies, he said he was trying to get investment from a venture capitalist, and to try and get that investment, he said, I have the mentality of a samurai. He like told the investor he's basically a samurai. He's got a lot of samurai swords. And when that story came out in a biography that was published around 2015, 2016, he criticized it and he said, I never said I'm a samurai, but I do have a lot of the weapons. And for one of his birthdays, he rented a castle. In an American castle, so like a fake castle. And the whole theme was Japanese steampunk, but set in a European-style castle. And he rented some actual sumo wrestlers, like some competitive, league-level sumo wrestlers from Japan to come over. And Musk claims that he managed to lift one of them, who weighed 350 pounds, off the ground. He claims he managed to go toe-to-toe with like a top-tier sumo wrestler and lift him off the ground.
That's incredible. So that is obviously completely mad. The thing with Elon Musk, and one of the things I've noticed in with tendency in his defenders, is when he does a mad thing and they defend him, they will say like, well, it's obvious he's lying, or it's obvious it's a joke. Or because I've even seen them say, if you point out that Elon Musk is an idiot, they will say, but he's tactically performing being an idiot because he's good. He doesn't want to he's trolling, or he doesn't want to intimidate people with the truth of his mega brain. There'll be someone saying, I can't believe Elon Musk thinks he's defeated a pro sumo wrestler. That's a blatant lie. And then there'll be other people saying, well, you know, the acolytes of Musk saying, well, obviously, he's trolling. He's trolling.
Rather than being evidence that you've backed the wrong horse, it is satisfying because he's annoying other people who are expressing concern that such a huge amount of power, perhaps arguably the greatest amount of power in a capitalist system, has been handed to someone who is not thinking very hard. And when they express that concern, it's like, he trolled you, doing something that lost people's confidence in himself. He got you. His plan all along was to make people think he was less capable. Okay, he succeeded. And just another, like, he said that there'd be no new coronavirus cases by April 2020, and then questioned the safety of the vaccine. He also went on record to say that the US government shouldn't provide any subsidies to businesses, even though Tesla and SpaceX are
He got
reliant on
he got
those
a
things.
mad amount of money. Obama was just like basically bankrolling that guy. Didn't he back like a QAnon congresswoman as well?
Yeah, if you just pick a random person for the Republican Party in order to say, I'm going Republican to get a media furore over that rather than something else, then do you know, like they did this, Elon and Grimes made this, made a stunt out of what they named their child, which is XI-A12 or X-A12.
I'm glad you had it typed out.
I wanted to find out how it's pronounced, but it's actually very difficult because when asked very shortly after this was announced, when asked how do you pronounce that, Grimes and Elon do not have matching stories.
Amazing.
There is no consensus between the parents on how
Maybe
the
this was the
child's
root
name
of
is
the
pronounced.
divorce.
I think there's lots of roots of the divorce. I think the divorce's roots go very deep.
The divorce is the Erd tree.
And they also needed to change the name almost instantly. It was announced, check if that's a legal name. Okay, the new name.
What was the new name?
They had to change the numbers into numerals because numbers is not a valid thing to put on a name registry. He doesn't seem like someone who is seriously thinking about what they're doing.
No, not on any level.
Receives any accountability for that. And so someone who behaves like that is not uncommon or even necessarily that interesting. It's the fact that people are so invested in believing in them absolutely, completely and absolutely, unwaveringly.
They're quite sometimes literally financially invested as well. I think that's a lot of it, of like people want to believe that their Tesla stock is infinitely going to go up and that the crazy crypto stuff that he also supports is a sustainable thing.
Including like the government.
Yeah.
Like the US government is subsidizing this the entire way.
Oh, yeah.
One thing that's really interesting about SpaceX is it just feels like it's a transfer of money and resources from NASA, the American space agency, just into this private unaccountable company.
It's just military-industrial complex going even harder.
But the interesting thing about the military-industrial complex funneling itself through SpaceX is that, one, it's shadowy. You can't see what's going in. It's not a publicly traded company, so you can't see where its financials are going, and you actually can't see the deals that are being made. The rockets that Elon Musk is saying are going to help humanity and take them to Mars are also contracted by the military to drop bombs on people.
And ultimately, they just want money. It's the same as like Bush with Halliburton. Beyond SpaceX, but all the money that Tesla's got as well, they want to be able to say, well, here's a justification for bunging a load of federal government money back into private hands to inflate stocks. Because it's not like the government has, the government puts money in these things and then the state act as shareholders where the people have a voice in the company.
Yeah,
That's not fucking happening. It's purely just the state is actively helping inflate these stocks so that the capitalist class can make even more money, so that the system can make even more money. That's what it's doing. Or like boomerang aid, that thing that both the UK and the US were mad on in the 2000s, where they'd say, we're going to build this hospital or this road in Afghanistan. And then the money goes from the UK to Afghanistan, but then the only companies can bid on building the hospital or the road are all UK companies. So the UK can say, oh, well, we've given this financial aid. But what we've actually done is transferred money from the UK public to private hands. And sometimes the hospital wouldn't even get built or the road wouldn't even get built. But the money's changed hands. It's like another expression of that, of a transfer. Liberals see Elon Musk and they go, oh, this guy's out of control. Power and money is evidence that the rich need to be taxed more. The state needs to tax the rich more. And it's like, well, the state made this guy.
Yeah.
The state fucking made this guy. What?
Yeah, the state decided this guy was going to be the figurehead of techno-utopianism. And that's what makes SpaceX so interesting when you compare it to the transfer of wealth to Halliburton. Halliburton is just going, we make missiles and they get dropped on things.
Yeah.
SpaceX is not saying that. SpaceX obscures that. SpaceX is saying, we are humanity's future.
Yeah.
We are techno-utopianism. We are living in little pods on the moon. We are space communism. All of our money comes from the government as long as we use them also to make bombs.
Teslas aren't dropping bombs on anyone, but I still think the technology... Yeah, exactly. I think the technology is very adjacent in terms of the batteries and stuff. But it's to keep the car industry going, as petrochemicals go, and under the guise of, like boomerang aid, it's like saying, well, we're doing this to help green things, without actually interrogating, hold on, aren't cars driven by individuals on these roads kind of fucked? Don't we need to invest in public transport infrastructure? And then there's all the other stuff like the Hyperloop, or all these insane ideas that just need more space and more money and more minerals built for atomized societies where privileged people have access to this, more greater access to this infrastructure because of their money. Just like you said with SpaceX, this scam is, we'll take government money, and instead of saying we are taking this to drop on Iraqi kids and kill them, you are taking it to say, we are doing this for a green earth. We are doing this for the future.
That narrative is sticking in a big way. No one realistically believed in Halliburton. Bush's expansion of militarism was wildly, wildly unpopular, but the story being told with Tesla and Tesla's green future, I think Tesla was awarded stuff by international green business bodies for being an exciting solution. And yet, all these hyper rational brain bros or infrastructure brain bros, yeah.
I love it. They sound like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles enemy.
Yeah, Mr. Brain. Get him, he's going to think.
Yeah. Mr. Brain and the Brain Bros.
Get him before he finished writing his post. He's just going through and redrafting and formatting it. Get him! But the idea that the most efficient way to organize all this infrastructure is every individual is now obliged to have their own exoskeleton, and you have to feed 99% of your income into it for it to work. That's how we live.
Yeah.
We've just found out that the exoskeleton is completely hermetically sealed, so there's no oxygen in there. You will need to buy that separately. You need to buy a unit to pump air in. Otherwise, you won't die, but you'll go very lightheaded while in an exoskeleton.
If you can't afford the premium air plan, you can simply have our adverts option, where adverts are beamed into every orifice of your body.
Say McDonald's if you want more air. I don't want to say the cult of Elon Musk. I'm looking for another phrase.
That's what it is. I think we say brain bros.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly bros, isn't it? The third thing is, number one, people like billionaires because they think they're going to be a billionaire. Number two, Elon Musk is an idiot. And then people go, well, I'm an idiot. Maybe I could be a billionaire. And the third thing is white men. Because they go, Elon Musk is a white man.
Maybe I could white man myself to the top.
Yeah.
The difficulty with Elon Musk
Brain
is
bros.
he seems so unconvincing that it's hard for me to imagine him as this charismatic cult leader. It feels like the cult is perpetuated more by the membership than it is by the figurehead.
Big time.
It's like a Pied Piper, but the Pied Piper's just burping. And you're like, kids, why are you listening to him burp? And they're he's going to lead us into the sea. Kids, don't listen to the burping. Just listen to something else.
So you obviously actively hated the Iron Man movie and Robert Downey Jr.'s depiction of Iron Man. But
he's a villain.
But the charisma deficit there.
I think the charisma deficit is important. So earlier you said, Elon Musk is a continuation of this belief that if Elon Musk can make it through hard work, I'm an idiot, maybe I can make it as well.
Yeah, without interrogating the Blood Diamond origin story.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I actually think it doesn't quite hold up, but it's interesting for why. So the claim that Elon's father owned an emerald mine in the 80s is a difficult one to completely verify for several reasons. One, it was never
PR companies to cover it up.
Well, Elon denies it absolutely.
Of course he does, yeah.
But so his dad said it. Errol Morris said it in an interview in South African Business Insider, and he said in the mid 80s he became the half owner of an emerald mine in Zambia. Elon's thing is, my dad is mad and abusive and a weirdo. Don't listen to anything he says. And a very cursory look at his dad just make you think maybe he's not the not reliable source of anything, because he has murdered 3 people and had a child with his stepdaughter.
Hello, it's me in the future. I had a little feeling about this, so I went and did some digging, and it turns out Elon himself was pretty happy to admit and talk about Daddy's emerald mine for a while. At some point, one of his PR people must have said, this ain't looking good. In 2019, he tweeted that this idea was an awful lie, and
My father didn't own an emerald mine.
however, if you access archived articles from earlier, such as the mysteriously deleted 28th of July 2014 interview in Forbes, where Musk himself says,
My father had a private plane. My father also had a share in an emerald mine in Zambia.
this is also corroborated by an article in Esquire from 2012, weirdly called Triumph of His Will, yikes, and an article called Plugged In from the New Yorker in 2009. Just putting this in so we don't get dunked. Please don't dunk us.
I see the appeal of being like the apartheid blood diamonds, but I think it's actually more important to not like make it seem like it's an exceptional thing.
Yeah.
And there is a very clear transfer of wealth to Elon when he was founding Zip2. His dad gave him 28 grand, which would be about 50 grand now. And that went into his first business. So there is no real bootstrapsism. There is just the very mundane story of my dad had a lot of money.
What is this genius thing he's supposed to have like innovated other than buying other people's ideas? Buying into PayPal, buying into the name Tesla from another company. He just buys stuff.
Well, he didn't even quite buy into PayPal. He actually bought into one of the companies that then merged into PayPal. And before it became PayPal, he became the CEO and then was sacked within a year. So PayPal didn't even exist when he had power over it.
So it wasn't even like he saw PayPal as an emergent thing and made like a savvy business decision. It was just fluke.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And PayPal didn't exist when he was the owner.
Yeah.
And he was removed as the owner. And he wasn't even the founder of one of the companies that he worked in that merged into what then became PayPal. So there's no founder story here. There's no way of looking at it where he founded anything. He went into something and then was removed from it, and then later it was innovated into something famous.
The same with like Bezos and Steve Jobs is the thing they do is use capital to pay actually smart people to do things. And then through their capital, they are able to direct thousands of people's labor, their labor of their minds, the labor of their bodies globally. And that is a power they exercise over humanity, which is completely fucked. But then any of the positive things they take personal credit for, when what they've actually done is paid people smarter than them to do stuff while they reap the profits.
And Musk has had lawsuits with people that claim that they try to remove their credit from their things, and Elon trying to attach it to themselves. And that also has happened to Jobs, I think, and Gates in the past. It is a common thing in the myth making. You need to show that the thing you're famous for was just you to the greatest degree possible, because that's great for investors.
Elon Musk is not great for investors. The difference between Musk and those other guys is that Musk will go on Twitter and call a man a pedo.
The Luang Nang Non cave complex in northern Thailand is closed to visitors during the rainy season because it floods. So going inside it and getting trapped is exactly the kind of thing that a teenage football club and their 25-year-old coach would do. Their fate ignited sympathies of the West, because jocks who overlook safety signs and get in trouble is the very archetype of the Western folk hero. It also stirred the caustic heart of an unconnected billionaire. Designed in one day, Elon Musk announced to the world that he had designed a child-sized rescue submarine. The plan was to place a child inside some spare rocket casing, which divers could drag through the water. A plan which was not implemented because, amongst other things, a metal shell is very long and rigid and cannot turn the tight corners of a cave complex. The unhelpful cylinder was nevertheless flown to and left outside the cave where it would go untouched. Musk tweeted,
"Leaving here in case it may be useful in the future. Thailand is so beautiful."
It is now in a museum. British diver Vernon Unsworth was the first diver from the British Cave Rescue Council to be sent to the scene, and said that Musk's metal tube was a transparent PR stunt and had no chance whatsoever of working. In response, Elon Musk called him a
pedo guy.
Despite being an ill-tempered sideswipe from an embarrassed weirdo, this comment became international news. Vernon Unsworth at this point has saved at least 13 lives from certain death, but
pedo guy
continues to dominate the results of any basic inquiry about his life, and he was moved to sue for defamation. During this time, Musk was contacted by a private investigator called James Howard Higgins, who Musk hired for 50 grand to do a complete background check on Unsworth and fish around for dirt, muck and gloop. However, if Musk did even a little background check on Higgins, he would discover that he was being scammed by someone who already had 14 charges of fraud against their name. Musk was paying Higgins to lie to him and drip feed him fake evidence, which Musk in turn emailed to several journalists, in which he alleged that Unsworth was a child rapist and the husband of a child bride. When it came to the trial, Musk's defense was that
pedo guy
does not mean paedophile, just means a creepy guy, strange guy, a lurking man. not just in South Africa, but across the entire English-speaking world. And that was his intent when he used this word. And you might think that argument wouldn't stand up, not when Elon Musk tweeted,
"I bet you a signed dollar it's true."
in response to a tweet saying,
Elon Musk just called the guy who found the children a pedo?
or the fact that, he hired this guy and sent emails to journalists explicitly saying that he's a pedo. But you'd be wrong, because Elon Musk won that case and Unsworth lost. It's not news that legal outcomes are manipulated by the rich, and a more even-handed, boring take is that the standards of defamation are set incredibly high. You need to prove intent, and that is simply not possible if you can insert any degree of linguistic ambiguity. But even on top of the ability to afford massive lawyers, which will directly influence the outcome of the case, or if you are someone with fame and celebrity, it is harder to find jurors who aren't going to be prejudiced in your favour. The absurdly high bar for things like defamation have only been set like that because of the frivolous misuse of the court system by litigious millionaires, of which Musk is one. He can still afford to fire off a lawsuit for anyone who criticises his shitty cars for constantly veering off the road to search for a tractor to crash into. But for people to whom litigation is their only method to ensure accountability, they are frozen out because their pockets aren't deep enough to play it like a lottery. Musk is not even accountable to his own shareholders. The apology and deletion of the tweets only came from the insistence of Tesla, who booted him out as chairman and hired a lawyer to watch his tweets in case he wants to take another swipe at his own stock prices for clout. It hasn't stopped him. He's still the majority shareholder and tweeting like he's 6 shandies into a new divorce. What can you do? How can you rein him in? The depressing new metric for assessing individual power is now tantrums per month. You or I can only dream of a public workplace tantrum. Now imagine a tantrum on the world stage over nothing.
The adult baby takeover.
It's tempting to liken Musk to some despotic duke from a HBO feudal melodrama, but I think even feudal rulers had factions they needed to appease. Musk does not need to do politics. He can openly tweet,
"We will coup whoever we want. Deal with it."
Musk does not live in a society. He is pure individual. Trump was a monster, but he was also a fading, bronzed old man who wanted to put the presidency as a new trinket on the shelf next to his golden toilet. The ideology of the Trump administration was a jangled rat king of far-right ideologues, for whom Trump was as much a willing puppet as an instigator. But Musk has a vision too compelling and vague to be reduced to a baseball cap, a vision he believes in. A vision carried out by a single individual who wields the absolute power of bonkers stage capitalism and the emotional myopia of 21st century geek culture. I'm remembering those insufferable people I met at university, the bullied bullies, the people endlessly hemorrhaging all their social connections because they mistake the unique access to their own thoughts and mind with proof they are the only intelligent person in the universe, storming out of the board game cafe because a girl in Lucy and Yak dungarees beat them at a game of Carcassonne. Imagine you are a child, laying on your back at the bottom of a staircase in an elite academy in Pretoria, your face beaten bloody for being asocial, your satchel torn open, and your persecutors mocking your Lord of the Rings rewrite where Gandalf is a computer. Now you are 50 years old, dressed as a samurai, staring at your vast array of rockets. You have turned the tables. David is dead, and you are now Goliath. And Goliath is the size of the moon. Nothing can stop you now. You will never be sad again. But what is this tugging at your heart? What is this feeling at the very pit of the center of your core? Somewhere out there, someone out there does not like your submarine.
That sent me into the abyss. Right, we've just taken a little break to watch 3 separate Elon Musk media appearances. So we've got fuel in our bellies.
I feel like it's done the polar opposite to me. I feel like something vital has been sucked out of me.
Something.
I feel winded.
Well, that was my that I was saying that I think was the intent, but I feel sort of sad. So we just watched Elon Musk's Saturday Night Live appearance as Wario.
Wario, is it true, as many have put forward today, that you are evil?
No, I am not evil. I just misunderstood. And some of the anti-Italian hatred in this courtroom is disgusting.
And then Elon Musk's appearance on The Big Bang Theory. He's working in like a homeless kitchen.
You're Elon Musk. Wow.
And then Elon Musk's appearance in Iron Man 2.
Mr. Musk, how are you?
Congratulations on the promotion.
Thank you very much.
Those Merlin engines are fantastic. Thank you. Yeah. Good idea for an electric jet. You do. Then we'll make it work.
My guess is that the chronology of these appearances is Iron Man 2 at the beginning.
Yes, 2010.
Then Big Bang Theory happened after that. And then SNL was the last one.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And we watched them in the reverse order.
Yeah.
But in Iron Man, he is Elon Musk, the guy, and of what little the public know of him. In Big Bang Theory, he's called Elon Musk, but he's a completely different guy. He's doing completely fictionalized things. His personality has been designed for the show. He's playing a character that happens to be called Elon Musk and also runs the companies. And by SNL, it's not important who he is and what he does. It's just important that Elon Musk is there.
Yeah.
So he could just be Wario.
But you can see, but there's like a trajectory of like, I was going to say a trajectory of deification, but that's quite funny if like Wario is God. But like there's an escalation
reduction of him to just nothing.
Yeah.
To just Elon Musk the name.
Well, it's not nothing because it's I think there's something going on in that Wario. Well, in the Iron Man 2 appearance, he appears, like you say, as like Elon Musk, and he says something about electrifying, like the thing he's famous for, electric cars. So he's talking about, I'm going to come up with an electric jet to Tony Stark. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. In the Big Bang Theory, he's like, he's doing something that real Elon Musk, that jars with real Elon Musk, but possibly is how he wants to be perceived as this like down to earth, nice person. Or I guess, is it a joke? Is the joke that Elon Musk wouldn't be in a homeless kitchen helping people? Is that like why it's funny? I mean, obviously they have to write this stuff in a way that Elon Musk says, yes, I want to do this. So he's getting something out of it for his ego. And then the third thing is the Wario thing. Is obviously he's not evil Wario. Well, he's evil.
Wario is evil. Evil in a very day-to-day way because he shoulder barges stuff quite a lot.
Yeah.
He shoulder barges before he thinks to walk around someone.
Well, Mario's buddy's stomping on little guys' heads, so I don't know. And he's also collecting coins.
I think you've been brainwashed by that sketch into. I think you've really watched the Wario sketch, and you've been like, they're making a good point.
Well, no, because I'm trying to explain what the piece is, the point the piece is making.
I know.
So the premise of the sketch seems to be Wario is like a hyper-exaggerated evil fictional character. Wouldn't it be interesting to like humanize him and think about his like inner world or something? That seems like what the premise maybe was when they started writing it. That isn't delivered, and then it just sort of it turns into like very basic series of Mario references and then a dick joke.
I feel like at least some corners of SNL, of the writer's room, were conceiving of it maybe as like if Wario was in a courtroom scene. This is the tack they would need to take.
Yeah.
And it sort of shows up the ability for powerful people to use the legal system to make those arguments to launder their reputation. So there's this other way of reading it of being like, it's a criticism of America's legal system vaunting the powerful and allowing them to reshape their reputation.
It does the Musk Wario thing, but this sketch is over 5 minutes long, by the way. I do not recommend you watch it.
Should ever be over 5 minutes long.
So it starts off, and then it's like, okay, Elon Musk is Wario. He goes to the stand, but then there isn't really much Musk Wario stuff. It just goes into like Mario jokes. Grimes appears as Princess Peach. Toad's to the jury.
And does Grimes do an Italian accent for Princess Peach?
Yeah, Princess Peach isn't Italian.
Because they do a strange... I mean, it's very hard to do comedy about video games. Video games is in this very middle ground where we're out of the games are virgin cellar-dwelling nerds and into a general acceptance of video games are like a form of mainstream media.
Yeah.
But we're still in that position of being, if there was any like Citizen Kane level landmark thing you could talk about in video games that you consume a mass level of knowledge necessary to do comedy about, it would still be Mario. And that makes Princess Peach doing an Italian accent all the more jarring.
It's
because
bizarre.
The very basic fact about Princess Peach is she's not Italian.
So Musk is obviously, there's some like egomania going on in terms of like how he wants to, he has a concern for how he is perceived, and he wants to cultivate a certain image of himself. So in the SNL one, like what do you think he thinks is like the joke of this? Is it just him being like a nerd? It's like, oh, it's about Mario. That's a nerd thing. I like nerd things.
Well, to draw a parallel, when I was a teenager at some point, my mom insisted we all got a family photo taken at like a nice little studio where they do a nice family photo to put in the living room, and I really didn't want it. And you go and they say like, everyone brings something that like reflects their personality. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you want. I don't know what item I own is me. But they were trying to coax it because they just want to take pictures of you, but tell you it's going to reflect who you are. Do you know what I mean? It's like someone doing something by numbers and then telling you that's you. You've asked for that. Actually, that's to your specifications. And so I brought my guitar along, and they were like, play guitar, look like you're really angry. And it's like, I'm not like that. That's not really how I am. But now there's this like, in this picture, there was like a picture of me playing guitar looking really angry and like mournful. I really want to see
this picture.
It's gone. It's long gone. But that idea of like, I want to know what you want, but also I don't have long and you need to fit into a pre-existing mold. Do you like games? I hear you like games. Okay, Mario. We're going to do Mario.
Of like a bullet point list.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like, I am okay to do sketches
Elon,
about
please, what do you do in your spare time? I play video games. Great, Mario Kart. We're doing a Mario Kart sketch in a courtroom. It lightly alludes to you taking that pedo guy things to court. But ultimately, you're Wario. You just do an accent. Just make sure to shake your upper body up and down every time you've got a line, and there'll be some laughs. Not real ones. Laughs that sound very artificial, like someone's put a gain up on 7 people out of 100.
Didn't someone get banned from Twitter for doing Italian Elon Musk? Was that caused by this? I don't think I registered.
No, that was pre this. 100% that was pre this.
Maybe this is like when Louis C.K. went on SNL in like 2015 and did that bit about sex pest stuff, so that it would change the SEO if people started searching Louis C.K. sex pest. And Elon Musk went, "Can you do a thing where I do an Italian accent to change the SEO?"
Right. Do you know, it's weird, right? Because you can still imagine that some people in the writers' room felt that there was something subversive, some subversive point they're making about Elon Musk. The fact that he had some kind of inherent evilness and yet was so concerned about his own image that actually getting to dress up as Wario and play this caricature of himself rendered in like the simple moral tales of children media would show up that he is actually like venal and crude. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. He got to go on SNL, and ultimately this, as everything else, would work in the favour of the powerful. You cannot make sly illusions because it is distorted by the gravity of power.
But you can see that it's just a mess. Just even from, like, it was doing my brain in from like a comedy.
Oh, it's
because the premise, because I think that must have been the original premise, right? Is the joke is it's applying a serious context of like courtroom and humanizing the stupidness of Wario, putting a very silly, almost childlike thing into a serious context, giving characters that are like 2D depth. That's like what one layer of it. And then the second layer of it, you would hope, is we know Elon Musk is going to be playing this character. Is there something interesting there? And there is probably, if you did that, if you went all in on that, I think you could take the same premise and probably make something pretty good. Maybe.
It's a really interesting premise. Get someone to play an evil character who, in a setting that is actually more closely related to their own in real life evil. That is a fascinating premise.
It's really, like, I do think, there's something there, but it just immediately, it just turns into Mario non sequiturs. And then you can tell they didn't know where to go with it, because then it becomes some weird Italian America thing with Pete Davidson's appearance at the end. The thing with the sketch is it has to be like a pretty clear. It's clear that they didn't have a clear idea because it is 5 minutes long.
There's a premise, you find a resolution to what the idea of that premise is, and you get out.
Yeah.
I think one of the big issues is, obviously, Musk is not a good performer in any of these things.
Truly dreadful.
I don't think, I don't want to be overly critical of him specifically for not being a good actor.
No,
I think he's only been brought into these shows not for his acting prowess, it's because people just wanted him on there for his fame.
Well, SNL's dying, isn't it? So they genuinely probably thought, people like Elon Musk, they will tune into this dying show. Absolute headline, absolute dog shit. But I do think it's interesting. It's how Musk wants to be seen. I think he wants to be seen. He doesn't just want to be a billionaire. He wants to be seen as cool, and also I do think he probably wants to be liked.
He definitely wants to be liked.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people who are definitely into geek culture, they want to be liked a lot more than they want to be understood. And they didn't realise that acts as quite a big obstacle. If you do know that there are these high-profile things you've done against other human beings, which are completely reprehensible and immoral.
Even Wario would not do them.
Yeah, then you might climb down from your Big Bang Theory, I actually feed the homeless on Thanksgiving route to a more postmodernist route of, I am evil, but evil like Wario, not evil like a despot. So when you think of me and my evil, think of me going, rather than going, okay, I will sign the order on that, even though I have been informed it will cause people to die.
Even though I will go on a firing spree because someone complained about health and safety measures or something.
It is complete damage mitigation of like, all right, I am evil, but some evil characters are a lot of fun. Like Wario. I like treasure as well. I've got more treasure than anyone else. I'm just a laugh.
My dad's emeralds.
Have you heard about the Neuralink?
Elon Musk puts a USB Bluetooth thing in your brain.
Yeah, it's like the brain chip.
That sounds fucking awful. That is going to be used to serve ads in your dreams and nightmares.
The thing that winds me up about it isn't even like the obvious like cyber dystopia that it would obviously, think about McDonald's. Think about how much you love McDonald's to breathe. But the issue is, there is definitely some stuff that kind of technology could do, like interfacing with a computer input using signals in the brain, and if the brain learns to recognize patterns, you can control it. But the claims that Elon keeps making are absolute nonsense.
Well, what's he saying?
Well, he keeps talking about the ability to like read and write memories.
Oh, yeah.
That technology just simply, it's not like on the cusp. I don't think there is even an understanding on memories, what they are and how they work.
I would love to be able to like drag and drop a PDF into my brain.
I would like that for books. To turn myself into an e-reader, very good. I actually don't want read-write access to my memories.
You could drag drop on, but you don't want to drag drop off.
Already in the digital world, I hate being like, someone goes, and then you said this, and I'm like, I don't think I did.
Yeah.
I don't think I did say that. And someone goes, I'll just find the conversation.
Yeah.
And then I hate that.
Yeah.
I love rewriting history, so it's just a little bit more favourable. A little bit more favourable to me. Being able to do that to myself in the bath, I would gouge it out of my brain. Yeah. Imagine when you can't sleep, and rather than just sort of half remembering like the awful things you torment yourself with, you're like, let's go HD tonight. Let's go 4K. Let's go 4K when in year 4, I called the teacher mom. 4K that on a loop until I'm unconscious.
I think there'd be like forums where people have got, there's forums where people post game saves. You could be like, here's my year 4 calling the teacher mum. What's yours? Can I have a look?
Yeah.
And then people like mislabeling stuff. I tell you what, like anything on the internet, there'll be a lot of porn.
Oh, yeah. And you'd have to, in Japan, you can't turn the shutter noise off on your phone.
Oh.
You would have to have something like that. I want to see, like when a camera gets the red recording thing on.
Yeah.
I 100% want there to be an external sign that someone's recording.
It'll be like one of your eyes goes red like the Terminator.
Yeah.
When it's on.
And it should be whirring like an old projector.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like one of your hands is in a fixed recording position. It should be absolutely unavoidable. Either that or we're all in the public domain at all times, as soon as we're perceived.
Christ.
Elon's world. Having read several biographies on him now.
Oh, sure.
They are all
I'm so sorry.
written. I've actually had a wonderful time. I have had a wonderful time. Because a lot of the biographies are written by people who love Elon Musk, and then they become interesting. I become interested in the biographers.
There's one person. I wish he did an autobiography. The Branson ones, when we did Branson, I obviously read them, and they were incredible because they had the added thing of he is writing this. But also, like you say, the thing with Elon is it's the people who worship him that are interesting. So these are all written. The only ones you could find are written by enthusiasts.
There is one good one, and it's the main one. The Ashley Vance biography is not fawning. A lot of the other vanity published ones can be quite fawning, and also just really winding them up. There's one that's described as an autobiography, but unofficial, and it's not written by Musk. What? And I just don't think the author knows what the word means. Yeah. But like, that's why it's quite interesting to go through them. But all of them are written before Elon came out as autistic on SNL.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of early years chapters talking about and almost fetishizing the symptoms of autism as though that makes him this special, different, you know what I mean? It's othering, but it's also elevating him. And all of his rudenesses and his social quirks and his, you know, his weird little behaviors. I think there is a part of the Silicon Valley myth making which is about fetishizing autistic people as these human computer techno saviors. And that's why you see like Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos. She's trying to act in all these strange, quirky, socially slightly incompetent ways, because those associations are linked to status in San Francisco's Silicon Valley sphere. And then that becomes very, like, all the biographies are written before he talked about it publicly. And he must have been diagnosed quite a while, because he uses Asperger's, which has been dropped from the diagnostic thing for a while.
Could also be just an idiot. So he says that.
Why not both?
Yeah, can't be both. Can't be
Why
both.
not both? Never rule out both. The information is old and it hasn't been thought about very much. But definitely, I think people are projecting this kind of, you know, Big Bang Theory, nerdy, socially awkward, that means genius stuff on him. But once you realize, those quirks are just autism, and autism is not, autism is mundane. Autism is a very mundane condition. The wealth explains way more. The reason that a lot of autistic people are not millionaires, even though they can code and probably could make useful stuff, is because they weren't given 50 grand by their dad.
What a shame that Elon Musk is the only autistic man who doesn't really like trains.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the only autistic person in the world who doesn't think that mass infrastructure is cool. That's a very bad luck.
Again, it's interesting of that sort of messianic elements mixed with the hard work elements, and then the context of Elon Musk union buster. You know, like Tesla plants being... There's Tesla plants in fucking Germany that aren't unionized. And then mysteriously are paid less. Like, they have worse paying conditions in the non-unionized place. How strange. So, like, you know, that's the other thing of, like, a lot of his immense wealth is driven from the state, so it's directly handed from the state to Elon Musk. But then his wealth is not necessarily through business savvy, but through his workers being paid less, and therefore he can reap greater profits. Like, that's what you're a big part of being a billionaire isn't necessarily the quality of your product. It's how much you can exploit your workers effectively. And if you can ensure that they're not unionized and work longer hours or have worse conditions, that certainly helps you as a capitalist make more money. And Elon Musk is very good at that. It's like, you know, he believes in individual choice, but not people's individual choice to organize and improve their lives through collective action. Didn't he pay like PR companies to surveil his employees in terms of union action and try and sort of target ads at them?
Oh, no, he did it much cheaper. He just installed things that would monitor all their private communications.
Oh, nice. So just blatant corporate surveillance, Yes.
He's a businessman. And it's hard to understand how all this union busting can sit with... His big thing now is he's the free speech guy.
He means free speech to call someone a pedo. He doesn't mean free speach for workers that he employs.
Yeah, free speech to be like, how much is in your pay packet? Yeah, and also, like, there's free speech... free speech to just be kind of bigoted or stupid in the public domain, but Elon has personally filed lawsuits against... like, he gave a car to Top Gear to review, and they were like, "This is shit," so he just tried to sue him.
The one time where we've got sympathy for Clarkson. That's how annoying Elon Musk is.
Yeah, you just got to put people in hierarchies.
You shouldn't have done that to Jeremy Clarkson.
The best you can get in this, like, celebrity culture is that just the two of the worst people, one of them knocks the other one out of existence.
The Simpsons, two monkeys fighting.
Yeah, you just have to hope one of them wins. What you don't want when you're seeing your enemies fight is just absolute reconciliation. There was a whistleblower who informed on the surveillance. Musk threatened to destroy him, and shortly after, someone from Tesla informed the police that they thought this guy was going to plan a mass shooting.
Christ.
They fully tried to get this guy imprisoned.
That is fucked up.
I think he bollocked someone for missing an event to attend the birth of his child.
What, personally? Because this is the thing with Gates.
Yeah, he personally emailed
again.
them.
He's an idiot. Bezos and Gates have all this horrific stuff, but they put layers and layers of management between. So they can just softly say, "Oh, well, we need this to happen." Then a shitload of middle managers will directly bully people.
But this is it. Bezos, as the richest person in the world, was kind of a non-entity, just a very generic bald man in a suit, and that feels like the safest way to play it. Who's Jeff Bezos? I don't know a thing about him. He owns yachts.
Big difference is Bezos didn't do the hair transplant, but Musk did.
Oh, was Musk transplanted?
You don't know about the Musk transplant.
It makes a lot of sense when you see his age.
Please, can we record the live reaction? Please, just Google image Elon Musk hair transplant.
Elon Musk hair transplant. I'm typing slower than my normal speed to seem relatable. Wow. Yeah, he was at that.
He's on the cusp, right?
At the cusp of just shave it off.
Yeah, it's come on, mate.
Do you know you hit that cusp, which is just take a razor to the whole thing. You can't live on the edge. You can't live your life on the edge of a canyon.
You
either jump or you come back in.
Yeah. But instead, he has had a scientist remove hair around his head to make it look like he is not bald, whereas Bezos has gone full cue ball. Although he does, I think Bezos also has a cowboy hat, which might be worse.
I don't think the cowboy hat is a baldness disguise.
It's not a disguise.
It's a cowboy disguise. Bezos a cowboy? Nah, can't be that much money going to be in a cowboy.
Cowboys don't go to space. Doesn't make
How much are they paying him to look after these cows? Must be a rich farmer. Must be some really big cows.
Well, I think the hair transplant thing, because the guy's is he 50? He's in his 50s?
Yeah, he's 50 exactly.
The strange thing about him is he's got the other part of his appeal is he's the king of the millennials. He's all of the things that are annoying about millennial culture that Gen Z home in on, complain about quite rightly, are embodied in this one man. Memes, I'm going to steal this meme. Come on, mate. Doggo.
Epic bacon. Yeah.
He's like that.
Please don't litigate me for union busting. I am but a small bean.
Yeah. But the thing is he's a decade older than a millennial. So he's a creepy guy who was at one point, he's trying to relate to young people. So he's trying to be cool and down with the millennials. But now he's 50 and the millennials are in their 30s.
But do you know what it is, right? Do you know how
really funny? It's one of the things that makes him profoundly cringe.
Do you know how there's always a body of humour that is, within the median generation, the median age generation, and then there's dad jokes, which are just these bad non-attempt. I've made a joke because that means I'm funny, but there's nothing here. It's benign.
The thing with the dad joke is the dad knows it's shit and he's doing it to wind up the kids. That's
that's
why the dad
I
actually.
think you're letting the dads off here.
That's what the dad
apologist.
I'm a dad apologist, but that's what they're doing. That's
Not
the dad
most sometimes
the dad joke.
Oh, you're lucky if you find a dad who's doing that.
Oh no, I think that's typical.
I think a lot of dads say it because they go, that is a joke. It meets the dictionary definition of a joke. I will say that now because I have nothing else.
Yeah, I can see
that
the joke that has to
dad.
come out. Yeah, there's no quality filter.
There is no reason not to say this. I am at an age where I do not need to filter anything. Do I think this joke will be enjoyed? I haven't even thought of that. I don't ask myself that question. The joke has already been said. That's dad. That's pure dad. What you may have met was a switched on dad, and that's very lucky.
I think I've interacted with quality dads. That's my baseline.
I think you've had a blessed dad career.
Yeah. The dads
your
of North Wales.
Your dad safari has gone very well. And Elon Musk is doing dad reactionary tweets of what reactionary online writing looks like. Elon Musk is the dad joke version where it's not well thought enough to really rile anyone up. It's not really clear what he's getting at. It kind of isn't even connected to the talking points. It's just a dad version of that. Dad reactionary tweets.
It's filterless. This is how we know he's stupid, because he has no filter. He just posts. Trump, but not funny. An idiot with no filter. But Trump is he's obviously right-wing scum, but Trump is funny.
Yes, you can imagine Trump's tweeting voice employed for good. But you could never imagine Elon's tweeting voice employed for anything. It's purely ineffective at communicating.
But Musk is also like, just looking at it on a raw comedy analysis of Musk and Trump's tweets, Musk is like copying things he's seen, whereas Trump is like pure essence.
Yeah.
Musk is like someone trying to be funny, repeating other things that they think are funny. But they both have the same problem of like tiny brain, no filter posters.
And Musk is a joke thief. Whereas Trump had a fully fledged voice. If he stole a joke, it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't be gags. Yeah, like he can't.
Yeah.
Trump can't steal a meme because he is a meme.
Yeah, no one could write for Trump.
No,
it's too specific. You'd know they were writers in.
The closest thing to Trump is some drill tweets.
Yeah,
drill's a bit, and Trump is a guy. He's the president of the United States of America.
Trump was such a powerful author that there are little elements to what he said that I think are used by some of his... Do you like satirizing Trump's manner of speaking has become so ubiquitous that sometimes ending a sentence and then just appending the word sad exclamation mark. It's used sincerely now by some of his biggest rivals. People who want him dead still will use the way he talks. He has influenced literature.
The other thing, just to follow my original line of thought here, is Musk presidency 2030s.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
100%. And it will be cringer.
Trump. Can you imagine? Yeah. Democrat Musk as well.
Versus Baron Trump.
Yeah.
Bringing some young blood into the Republican Party.
Annoying TikTok has been like, listen, you've got to vote for Musk to stop fascism.
Yeah, we just have to vote for Musk. I've already got my exoskeleton. That's why I can't breathe.
Say, McDonald's.
Yeah, they're constantly being, it's like that shaky cam that you might get from like a 1995 British sci-fi movie of like, I'm here, we've come to the surface of the sun. Sorry, McDonald's.
just to get another gasp.
Just constantly, you don't know why, because it's years later and that technology's gone. Yeah, they seem to be being attacked by someone called McDonald's. Yeah. Later generations think it was some kind of like folk horror figure.
Yeah. The archives seem to find a sort of clown.
I think it was like medieval Finland. They wouldn't use the word bear because they were worried it would summon the bear.
Yeah, because the bear would be, me?
Oh, is that me? I'm going to come and gore you. I think that will be how we write about McDonald's after Musk's presidency.
Mandatory Redistribution Party was created and produced by Sean Morley and Jack Lewis Evans. Our title theme was created by Ella G, with additional music by Sean Morley and Jack Lewis Evans. Special thanks to guest appearances from Eric Cohen as Dismayed Twitter user and Matt Tate as Northern Elon Musk. Thank you, dear listener, for your continued support. If you fancy it, you can help us out by sharing this episode on social media or support our work at patreon.com/mandatory redistribution party, where there is a growing archive of extra chunks our PR team will one day try to erase from the record. See you later.